Good afternoon from a wonderfully sunny northwest of England. Going to talk about January because I did that last post, which I did earlier in January, kind of covering what I was doing in January, but now it's February. So, time to review how January actually went because there's a lot going on at the moment. And in all honesty, January has been a reminder of why I have so many what I would call side hustles, small second jobs. I have about 6 or 7 different income streams. And the reason for that is that you cannot rely on any one thing to bring in the money. So in January of course was going to be slow. People were waiting to get their first paycheck since before Christmas. And you could tell in the behaviour online, if you looked at the analytics, that people just weren't looking. And then it got to the last week of January and you could see an uptick as people were starting to window shop a bit more and just starting to think, well, payday's coming. Can I do this? Can I do that? And I did sell a few things, but I sold things on Vinted. So I did manage to get rid of some stuff on Vinted. I didn't sell anything for my business at all, and that goes for the things that I've had in for a while, and that includes the new jars that I've been doing. So none of that has sold, and in fact my business made zero money in January, either on my website or on Etsy, and that does not surprise me. And there are multiple reasons for that now. So, of course, there was the whole January thing with no one's been paid before Christmas, everyone's being careful, la di da. We also have the GPSR, which means that none of my places that I sell on, so Etsy and Shopify, none of them are trading with the EU anymore. So I've lost a vast chunk of people who would have been buying or at least browsing, because I can't sell there anymore because of the new ruling. So that means I'm limited to the UK and outside the UK, so anywhere else. Now, most countries I've never had a sale from, and that's no surprise. I do tend to get quite a few sales from the USA and a few from Canada, and the odd one from Australia as well. The US, of course, is having its own issues with money and politics and everything else that's going on. Their cost of living crisis is just as bad as ours, if not worse. I'm not even sure. And I don't know how the whole tariffs thing is going to affect us. I don't know if the tariffs are going to be issued on the UK, and I certainly think that because there are going to be tariffs for the US, that means that people's budgets are going to be stretched even further just buying on their own soil. So I don't know that I'm going to get that many sales coming up, but that's why I have multiple income streams. So I have Vinted, I do surveys, I have a part-time cleaning job. There are all sorts of things that I do, which mean there is enough money still coming in. And don't forget, I'm single, I live on my own, I rent privately. There is no one else in my life who is topping up shortfalls. There's no safety in numbers when it comes to paying bills. Everything is on me. So there's all those challenges as well. Then challenges that I'm used to. I have lived on my own and been paying all my own bills for quite a while. And it just becomes a way of life that, you just get used to that. And that is why it's so important for me to have my eggs in various baskets, because you never know when one thing is going to change. One income stream might not pay as well as the others, one might get taken down, and you never know what's going to happen next. So this way I still feel in control of my income. I'm not worried that if I lose my job, everything's gone, because that won't be a thing. it'll be one income stream that goes, but there will be other things then. And it's just a case of plodding on and just getting on with it. So yeah, I have seen an uptick in analytics on Etsy and on Shopify, and again with Vinted. So I think give it time and things will start to change. I don't really know what else to do. I think the most important thing is to continue to work in all the areas where I have income coming in, and to keep them all going. So, cup of tea. Lovely and warm. And my jumper matches the sunlight that we have today. Today is the 5th of February. It still feels like winter, but you can tell that spring is coming. It is, it's on its way, and that really excites me because I just can't wait for those temperatures to go up just a little bit. So I haven't really been making anything since I did the candle jars. I have quite a supply of those now. I'm not going to make any more now, I don't think, until I start to sell some, because I have to justify. I haven't spent a fortune, so the jars are gifted to me. I've bought the napkins, the tissue papers and all that sort of thing. So I've spent a little bit, but not a lot. Now it's a case of trying to justify the price of them, because the problem is that they are glass and they are big, and some of them are quite heavy. So this is a recent jar that I've been given. They're quite big, some of them, and that makes them heavy to post. So I've put them on with free delivery, free postage costs, free shipping. So the price you see, although that's the price you pay, it certainly isn't the price that I get. And if you buy them on Etsy, then obviously there are extra fees going out. So, if I sell one of those really big ones for, say, £17, or I think it's £15 on my website, I'm going to lose probably about £4 of that if I get the right postage. And I use a site called Parcel to Go, because they offer really good prices, and you can sift through all the suppliers rather than just going to the post office and nearly falling over backwards when you see how much things are. And of course it's the size as well, so these things need to be well wrapped, so that makes the size of them bigger and that sort of thing. So these are not 100% profits by any stretch of the imagination. And of course Etsy fees over on Etsy, but on Shopify, I pay a membership every year to have Shopify, so that costs money. So, profit margins, all that sort of thing. You've got to keep your outgoings down as much as possible to try and maximise your profit margins on the things that you are selling, because at the end of the day, if you're not in profit, no matter how small that is, you're not a business, you're a hobby. And at least I can say that everything is in profit at the moment, and that's because I don't spend a lot of money. And because I work from home, I don't have to rent somewhere where I work, all that sort of thing. I'm keeping my costs as low as possible. So there are challenges. I've minimised it as much as possible. I'm just hoping that February and the sunshine and all the loveliness of that helps people to get out there and start buying stuff. But, I know this year I said I'm going to get rid of this scarcity mindset, and I haven't quite worked out exactly how to do that, how I hunt for the people that still have money. God, so many challenges. There's just so many challenges. I'm doing what I can. And by having other incomes to focus on where I have some control, it takes the edge off it. It means I'm not quite so worried, because things will be paid for, rent will be paid for, food will be paid for, utilities will be paid for. I'm not going to get into debt, and that really, at the end of the day, at the moment, is the most crucial thing. Just don't be in debt. So, sun's gone in, and that tells me it's time to go. Never mind sunshine. So that's it. That's my not very update for early February. Hopefully I'll be able to report back on something a bit more fun later in the month, and we'll hopefully, you know, we'll see how we get on. It's tricky times, but we're still here, and we are planning for some fun things to happen in spring, giving ourselves things to look forward to, being excited because the weather will change, and it's nice that the mornings are getting lighter and the evenings are drawing out, and that really does fill me with joy. Why not? Extra sunshine, you can't go wrong with that. So that's the sum of my update, unfortunately, for summing up January and into early February. And you know, we'll see how we get on. Hope you're all well. Hope you're hanging in there and focusing on the positive and la di da di da, all that sort of thing. And I will speak to you soon. Thanks for watching. Bye bye.